Hey bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to do a Q&A. About a month ago, I put up an announcement video about reaching my 1-year booktube anniversary and how I wanted to do a Q&A video so that you guys could get to know me a little bit better. I actually got asked a lot more questions than I was expecting, which makes me excited because it means that you guys are really interested in knowing more about me, and I'm really looking forward to answering these questions. I split these questions up into a category of bookish questions and then a category of questions about my life. I just thought that would be a good way to split them up.
Hey guys, Future Jade here. So this video ended up being a lot longer than I anticipated, so I have decided to cut it into 2 different parts. The first part is going to be all about the bookish questions that people asked, and the second part will be all about like the more personal questions that people asked. I have listed the questions that I answer and their timestamps down in the description box below, so feel free to look down there and just jump to the questions that you're most interested in hearing my answers to.
So I'm going to be starting with the bookish questions first. Lucy Rees asks, what's one thing you've noticed about how your reading has changed since starting booktube? The biggest thing that's changed about my reading since I started booktube is that I'm reading so many more books every month than I used to read. I've also found that I read a lot more of like new releases and books that are popular because those are the books that people are talking about, and I want to get in on those conversations and figure out what my opinion on those popular books are. Before starting blogging and booktubing, I was definitely a mood reader, and I still am a mood reader. I just wasn't aware of like new releases or the books that everyone was talking about because I wasn't really plugged into the community. So now that I am, my TBR has exploded and my reading tends to be more focused on books that people are talking about. Krista from Books and Jams asks, when you read, do you use bookmarks? I do use bookmarks. I have 3 or 4 that are like actual bookmarks that I use. I often just use, when I go to the library and I check out books, which is where I get most of my books from, they print out a slip of paper and that has like the name of the book and the due date and all that stuff, and they stick it inside the book and hand it to me. And I often just use that as a bookmark because there, and it's convenient, and if I lose it, it's not a big deal. It's just a piece of paper. Krista also asks, I remember watching a video where you got this cute TBR jar with Paper Star book titles. Do you still use it? And the answer to that is yes. I got this really cute TBR jar from an Etsy store. It's a book blogger that I follow. Her name is Jessi from Novel Heartbeat. And I got this last Christmas, and it's full, it has little origami stars, and she calligraphies the titles that you want on them. I got, I don't know, I think like 25 stars when I first started. However many come with the jar. I don't know how many that is. What I've been using this for is like for a monthly TBR jar pick. So once a month I'll pick out a title, and that's the book that I'll read for that month. I'm not out, but I'm definitely running low, and so I'm going to order like a new batch of book titles from Jessi to add them to the jar so I can fill it up a little bit more. On the top of it, it says TBR jar, also in calligraphy, and then it has this little charm on the front that says, sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast, which I'm pretty sure is an Alice in Wonderland quote. But yes, I love this jar. I will be sure to link her Etsy store and her blog down below so you guys can easily find it. She recently started selling some bookish candles, so definitely go check those out. Cherry Walker asks, if you could only pick one book on your shelf to save, which would it be? That's a really hard question. A lot of the books on my shelves are series, so I don't know how I'm going to pick just one. And I also don't own a lot of books. Oh, I know. I have a great answer for this. If I was going to choose just one book on my shelf, it would be my Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the illustrated version that just came out last year, because I know that I could read that book over and over and just stare at the pictures, and I would love it, and it's beautiful, and I can't imagine anything happening to it. So that would be the book that I would choose off my shelf. Alright, Anne from Book Your Imagination has asked me a handful of questions. She asked, do you have a favorite author, and if so, who is it? This is really hard to answer because I've read so many new authors since I started my booktube channel that I really, really love. I think that if I had to pick one author as my all-time favorite. At this point in time, I think I would say Patrick Ness. I really loved his Chaos Walking trilogy. I really loved More Than This, and I haven't read any more of his books, but I want to. I love his books because to me, it's more than just a plot and a storyline and characters. The ones that I've read had bigger overarching themes that I just thought were really thought-provoking and interesting, and I love everything that he has written that I've read. So yeah, I think I'm gonna say Patrick Ness for that. And also asked, it looks like your favorite genre is sci-fi fantasy. Do you have any other favorite genres, and if so, what are they? You are correct, Anne. My favorite genres are definitely sci-fi and fantasy. If I had to pick like my next favorite genre, I would say historical fiction. And I especially like to read books that are set in the World War II time period, and I also especially like historical fictions that are like alternate histories, which I guess kind of goes down the sci-fi pathway, so kind of where those overlap. But if I had to pick something completely separate from sci-fi and fantasy, it would definitely be historical fiction. And also asked, what are you looking forward to your next year on your channel? I'm looking forward to just making more videos. I'd like to be a little more consistent or make more of them, but I also know that I'm busy and life happens. But I'm just looking forward to making more videos. I enjoy making videos. It's fun for me. I'm also really looking forward to like making more friends and talking to more bookish people. I'd love to go to another bookish event. Earlier this year I went to Y'all West, which was so much fun, and I met some people in real life that are in the bookish community, so that was really cool, and I definitely look forward to doing that again. And also asked, who are some of your favorite booktubers and why? Now that's a loaded question. I watch a lot of booktube. I definitely watch a lot more booktube than I create. Sam from Thoughts on Tomes comes to mind. I love her videos. I really like watching her reviews and her wrap-ups because I trust her opinion on books. She can be very thoughtful in her reviews, and she does a good job of explaining why she doesn't like things. So I definitely really like watching her videos. I also love Sarah Without an H because she's hilarious. She was one of my inspirations for starting my own booktube channel. I quickly realized that I'm really not that funny. But you don't have to be funny to have a booktube channel, obviously. Sometimes I wish I was more funny because I love watching her videos because she's hilarious. Oh, I also really like watching Books and Lala. She has really great content, and even though she doesn't really read the same types of books that I do, I mean, we have some overlap, but for the most part, it's pretty different. But I still like to hear what she's reading and what she's up to. I could go on and on, but I'm just gonna stop right there, and I'll be sure to link those channels down below, but you guys have probably heard of them already. Okay, and also asked, are you an author or do you want to be, and if so, what genre do you want to write? So this is a really good question. My whole life, I've been a reader. I have never really had any aspirations to write anything until about the last year or so. I think it started with, you know, blogging and booktube and stuff, but also I started going to like author events and hearing authors talk about their inspirations and their writing process and things like that. For some reason, it just really inspired me, and it makes me want to write something. However, I'm one of those people who I don't have like a lot of story ideas or anything like that, so the idea of actually writing a book is really daunting. So I don't know if I will ever do it. I think I would like to. I actually recently made it a personal goal to like write a published novel by the time I'm 40, so I have a long time to do that. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but it is something that I would like to do one day, and if I do it, I will probably write sci-fi or fantasy because those are the genres that I like to read. And also ask, what are the differences you find between writing for your blog versus doing a YouTube video? So one of the big differences is I actually have to get dressed and do my hair and makeup for YouTube videos, which I don't have to, but I choose to. Whereas when I'm vlogging, I can just lay in bed and be completely lazy about it. The other thing that is actually a pretty big difference is that making YouTube videos takes a lot more planning. My process for writing my blog posts is usually I'll have an idea or I need to write a book review, and I'll sit down and kind of like write a bunch of words. It's a very rough draft. I call it word vomit. I just get it all out onto paper / my computer, and then a couple days later I'll come back and kind of clean it up, and then maybe I'll do one final like touch up at before I post it. So I can kind of do it in little pieces and it doesn't really take a whole lot of upfront planning. But when I'm making a video, I usually have to make a rough outline of what I'm gonna say. Again, that's not something that I have to do, but I try to do that because I find it makes the filming and editing process go faster. And I obviously can't film parts of a video unless it's a vlog. I have to like sit down and film the whole thing. So in that sense, it's different. And also, to be honest, making YouTube videos takes a lot more time than, you know, spitting out a blog post.
Okay guys, so that brings me to the end of my part 1 Q&A. I will be hopefully posting part 2 shortly. I've already started editing it. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye!
So my camera stopped filming about 5 minutes ago, and I've just been talking to a non-recording camera, so that's fun. And when I started blogging, I also and when I started blogging, other than reading, I actually have a personal goal of I have a personal.
You're distracting me. Bye.